Hey Leamons, welcome back to another video of mine. So first of all, thank you so much for 20,000 subscribers. That was a huge milestone of mine and I cannot believe that I finally reached it. I remember when I got 10k and I thought that was a lot. Now I've practically doubled from that amount, so thank you. But anyways, today I'm making a video on a topic I feel like I need to discuss in more details. I recently had a video about a person who had traced someone else's artwork. They have stopped now, or from what they've said, I just thought I would mention that before discussing this. And in that video, I said what they did wrong, obviously, and that it was bad of them to trace and claim the art as their own. I think most people can understand that. But does that mean tracing is bad? Like just tracing someone's artwork, and not even claiming it as your own? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to give my own stance and opinion on tracing art and if it's actually bad. Because of that video, I've gotten a lot of people asking me how I feel on the issue, or what is right and wrong when it does come to tracing, or if they can trace my artwork as practice. And that is why I'm making a video on all of this, to cover those questions. I'm Leamon Puppy, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started with the video. So, if you didn't already know, tracing is a known thing that happens in the art community. When a person traces another person's art, and it's extremely obvious and noticed, they typically get a huge amount of attention, and not the good kind of attention, the bad kind. People don't like it when others trace, and they will call artists out when it's discovered that they've been tracing. It's always drama related. But what if I tried telling you that tracing isn't inherently bad? It isn't as terrible as people make it sound, and that you shouldn't feel ashamed if you have ever traced art, or if you even trace as of now. Because, personally, I don't think it's wrong to trace. And let me explain why. Tracing allows people to practice on their art, especially for beginners. You may assume it wouldn't due to the fact you're tracing someone else's art, which isn't your own style or skills, but it definitely helps in the long run. And the reason why is because you're learning how to draw certain imagery in your brain. It is hard to explain, but I'll give an example. A lot of artists think hands can be a complex thing to draw early on, but by tracing hands repeatedly from a few different artworks, it would help you understand how they are drawn. So when you stop tracing and draw by yourself, you have the ability to draw hands better. This is the same with any other thing that you might find hard to draw. I personally always thought eyes were hard to draw when I was first starting to make art. I knew I wanted to make them big and the main attraction of the character, but it was hard filling out the eye shapes and putting them on. I always struggled when drawing eyes on the side of a character, or I struggled drawing both the eyes when the character was rotated slightly to the other side, since one eye had to be slightly skinnier than the other due to the positioning of that character. And I also sometimes had a tough time even just fitting the eyes on the head of the character. Perhaps if I traced eyes more early on, I would have understood the concept of drawing them a bit better, but because I didn't get a lot of tracing eye practice early on, it might have hindered my ability for much longer. Tracing enhances your learning with anatomy and proportions in your drawings, and it can also additionally help your shading and lightening skills. And I'm not saying that means you have to trace early on. No, you don't have to. Because you can just try to study how you should draw things from other artists or photos in real life. But tracing also helps you learn that, and in my opinion, in a better way than just studying and staring at it. Because you are already drawing it out as you learn the brain imagery of that drawing, getting physical drawing experience right off the bat. So it's undoubtedly true, tracing is actually a great source of practice to many beginner artists, or even artists that just need help on certain practices. And I'm going to inform you about something. If you didn't already know, I used to trace long ago in the past. I traced a lot of Pokemon art that you can find online. I never posted it or tried to claim it as my own though. Frankly, because I was too young and I didn't even have an art social media account at the time. But it helped me get into drawing, it helped me develop an art style, helped me with my anatomy, helped me understand how to draw a lot of animals, as Pokemon are typically animals, and overall just expanded my creativity as a person. So I don't care that I used to trace. In fact, I'm glad I did. I'm not exactly sure where I'd be today if I didn't. But even after I say all of this, me saying tracing people is okay. There is one thing that isn't okay. Claiming the traced art to be your own. That is where it's wrong. That is not something I support nor want anyone to do. Because that isn't what I mean. When I say I'm fine with people who trace art, I mean if you trace the art and give full credit to the original artist. Credit that you had permission to give by that said artist. You need to go as far as asking the artists of the original drawings if you were even allowed to trace it in the first place, and then you can go post it while giving them credit. And if they say that is alright, then sure, go ahead and trace it. If they don't mind and you're giving them full credit for your work, then there shouldn't be an issue. To give you an even easier answer before asking, sometimes some artists will clearly state on their Instagram bio to not trace their art. In that case, there's your answer right there. Don't trace them. If they don't say anything on their bio, then just ask them. And if they don't give you an answer, don't trace it, because you have no idea if they are okay with it or not, so you can't assume anything. Everyone is different with these kinds of things. Some artists would prefer no one to trace their art, no matter what, while some artists don't mind as long as they get credit for their work. You also cannot trace someone's art and say it's your own and try to sell that as an art commission for profitable gain. That's pretty much copyright, as the art will look extremely similar, and it's also unfair to that original artist. There are a lot of artists out there that do this, and it's just so wrong. Worse than even just claiming it as your own drawing, as you're gaining from it. Now, if you're not posting the art anywhere at all, and you're also not selling it for profitable gain, I think it would be totally fine to still trace it. And that might just be my own opinion, I'm not really sure, but I just feel like it would make sense to be alright in that kind of situation, because literally no one, except for you and maybe a friend or family member, would know about the trace drawing you made. So it really shouldn't matter, and it's not like the artist would even know you traced them. Honestly, no one would know, so who cares? As long as it wasn't posted, wasn't claimed as your own, and was just for practice and not for any personal gain or profit, I think it's fine. So again, if you traced art and didn't technically have permission, but you didn't post it anywhere or try to sell it, I personally think that's fine. Obviously, even after I say all of this, people are still going to trace other people's art and try to claim it as their own. Practicing tracing with credit is a different story. Tracing and claiming the art is another story. It's sad, and it's unfortunate to see other artists do this. I want people to draw by their own means and claim their own art. Because personally myself, I'd feel unsatisfied knowing I traced someone. I would feel sad to know that art I made wasn't actually made by me at all. The praises people would give me wouldn't be for the traced art. They'd be for someone else. Even when I did trace Pokemon art, I was pretty young, but I still felt this. A feeling that I was cheating and that I wasn't really drawing them myself. My mom would tell me that my art looked amazing and I would somehow feel not as proud. I knew I traced it over the computer screen. And that isn't a good feeling. So I don't understand how people can trace art and then go as far as claiming it as their own and post it. Again, tracing for practice is one thing, and tracing and claiming the art as your own is another thing. They are totally different things, and I hope you all can understand that, because I don't want to see anyone who traced an artist for practice, gave that original artist full credit and had their permission to trace it, to then get hated on. That seems unfair to me, since it's not bothering that original artist, so it really shouldn't matter. I had an issue recently where a subscriber of mine traced my recent animation meme of my character Rosie. I felt upset and uncomfortable because they didn't get my permission to do so, or even ask me in the first place if they could trace me. They didn't give me credits for it either. I looked everywhere. When I politely asked them to take the video down in respect, they immediately removed the video, and that is why I'm not giving this person's name away. They did the right thing, and therefore to me, it's okay. I wish they would have explained to me why they traced me or actually apologized for not giving me credit, but it's fine. It didn't really bother me in the long run. And that's the next thing. Is Leamon Puppy okay if other people trace my art? So many of you asked me if you could trace my artwork already. Personally, I'm alright. If you want to use it to practice, then go right ahead. I honestly don't think I'm a professional of any sorts, but if you think it will somehow help you improve your drawing skills, for sure you can. If you wish to post it anywhere online though, please just give me credit and try to tag me in the photo. Basically, make it clear that you trace me for everyone who would see that artwork. Because I don't mind if people want to practice their art skills. That's great, and it's okay to me. But remember, it's not okay for everyone else. So make sure to ask artists for permission and do credit them. Don't claim the traced art as your own. Do not try to sell it for profitable gain. And please do not hate on people if they do trace art and claim it. Even if they didn't credit anyone, it's unnecessary to give hate or say mean things. Just remind them of the right thing to do and hope they listen. That's all we can really do. So here we are at the end of my discussion, and I will say this one last time. I do not think tracing art is bad, which then leads us to the end of this video. Thank you guys again for 20,000 subscribers. That is really crazy, and it's such a huge number. It's mind-blowing. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Don't forget to leave a like, as it really does help my channel out a ton. I'm Leamon Puppy. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys all next time.